Hey guys, it's Mike coming at you with my first GodForge video. We got the upload in the email this morning when I woke up. We're downloading the game and we're going to get into the very first, our very first glimpse at the game itself. I've been watching a lot of videos on GodForge as far as like development, artwork, and just kind of things of that nature. But I've kind of purposefully tried to miss some of the heroes, because I kind of want to experience them firsthand, like as I go through the game, and I don't want to have, you know, any knowledge of, oh, this is the best character to start out with. Like in Raid, everybody knows you start with Kale, although I guess recently that's kind of switched a little bit to Aethel, but I still think Kale's a stronger choice. But in that space, it's just kind of, I want to go in there and just experience the game. So I'm looking forward to getting in there. What do we got here? We're 84%, almost there. But I also don't want to spoil or ruin stuff. So I think I'm going to kind of splash in and out as I have things to say, things that I've noticed. If there are any concerns, they have a whole forum for, you know, like little glitches and stuff like that. This is an alpha test, so it's not the full game. The graphics aren't where they're totally going to be. Like, there's still a lot of work left to do, but they're kind of getting out there so that it's the vibe of the game, so they can see if, I think Simon says, if we found the fun. And I am looking forward to getting in there and seeing what's up. So as soon as this gets downloaded, I'll bring you back in and we'll take a peek at our first impressions. So as these assets get downloaded, they did invite the first wave of the alpha test to come back in. I think there was like between 3,000 and 4,000, around 4,000 active users of the alpha test to begin with. And so those folks have a little bit of a leg up because they've played before. We're in the second test, and then there will be a third, or the second wave, and then there'll be a third wave, I believe, towards the end of the month. And then everybody gets invited back for the third wave as well. So that's going to be pretty exciting to kind of get in here and see what's going on. But we do have some stiff competition because some of these folks have been through the game already. So we'll see if we can keep up with them. Oh man, I feel like a kid at Christmas. This is awesome.
The Etherwell, source of the fires of creation, used by the primal powers to shape the cosmos. Serene, balanced, or so it was. Creation shattered, serenity broken, reality unmade. But pulled back from the brink of oblivion.
So I don't want to show the whole opening cutscene because I don't want to take away from the experience there, but the artwork's pretty cool. I really like how they do the audio of the speaking. I'm not a big reader and I read pretty slow, so it kind of helps me to hear it. Probably wouldn't be bad to have subtitles on that though. Would be my feedback on that end. But we're just now getting into the start of the game. It's going to walk us through the processes of how the mechanics of the game work, kind of a little onboarding, and then we should get back into the game itself. All right, so we're in the spot where we get to choose our hero. I'd like to see if I can select a hero that and look at what they do. I've tried not to, but I've heard Ramses is probably the way to go. But let's see if we select him. Okay, all right, so we can select him without choosing him. So taking a quick peek at Ramses here on his first active skill, we have I'm assuming a pretty strong attack with 320%. 35% chance to place acid. I'm assuming acid is going to be a damage over time element, something like a chill, a burn, a bleed. So that's interesting. It would be cool if I could click on it and find out exactly what it was, but that's okay there. If we go into here, his second core ability, this is basic, core, ultimate, and passive. Okay, so he's got 4 total abilities. His core ability, undefeated in battle, attacks all enemies 420% of attacks, so it gets stronger there with a 25% additional to strong hit. Has an 80% chance to place acid on each target for 2 turns. So again, I think that's going to be kind of like a burn. And then on the ultimate, attacks all enemies, so AoE 500%. It seems like a really strong percentage amount. If any enemy is defeated, then increase the turn meter of this hero by 30%. So he's actually speeding himself up. So he's going to be doing damage over time, pretty strong hits it looks like, and then on his passive, deal 20% increased damage to enemies under acid. So as he's putting that acid out there, he's going to be doing a little more damage. If we take a look at Lady Zoc here, let's see what we got going on. Attacks enemy, she's going to be doing a stack of bleed. 35% chance I think was the same. Attacks all enemies with 420% with 25% additional chance for a strong hit. Has 80% chance to place one stack of bleed on each target, so it's AoE bleed. And then attacks all enemies. It's not as hard of a hit. It's probably half actually, 2 times. If any enemy is defeated, place speed up on this hero for 2 turns. On the ultimate, and her passive is increases damage inflicted by 2% for each stack of bleed on the target. So it seems to me of the two of these, Ramses is the clear choice because they both have AoE bleed, except on her AoE ability, it hits significantly less, but it does place speed up on her for 2 turns, which could be helpful. The rest of the kit, I think, is actually very similar as far as that goes, which makes sense as far as the base heroes go. And then over here with Guan Yu, we're gonna take a look at this. We got Cold Steel, attack one enemy 320% if the target is under drain, then inflict additional damage equal to 5% of target's max HP. So that's going to be pretty strong. I think that sounds pretty strong. Moving on to the second ability, the core ability, attack all enemies 420% with 25% additional chance for strong hit. Has 80% chance to place Drain 2 on each target for 2 turns, which is again an AoE ability. And then on the ultimate ability, we've got attacks all enemies with 340%, then attack 2 random enemies with an additional 140%. If an enemy is defeated, plays in it up to, and I'm not sure what that is. I don't know what that is. I don't know if I should be excited about it or not. So feedback I would have if there was a way for us to click on these, and that might have actually already been brought up in one of the videos. It sounds familiar. Clicking on one of these so we know exactly what it is, and maybe even how it affects the game, like a little blurb on what in it is. It's not intelligence. It's got to be INT. Initiative up. He's taking initiative. I don't know. The other thing I'd be curious about on the drain, if drain is some sort of lifesteal mechanic or if it's just a damage over time. Because that would be interesting, because you'd have basically a healer coming out of the gate with Guan Yu there. But I think we're going to go ahead and go with Guan Yu and just kind of see what's going on with this kit, find out what in it is, and see what's happening. I do really like the aesthetics of all the champions. It's pretty cool as far as just the artwork and whatnot, and it will be getting better as it goes on. Alright, so we are on the home screen. We've got our kind of home icon up here for our profile. Probably has some pretty basic settings right now because we're in the alpha test. I've got my player ID right there. Let's see here. I'm probably going to have some sort of referral program where you can copy that, send to other folks, and then kind of work through that. As far as that goes, everything is on lockdown right now except for Battle, Anvil Creation, and Wayland Smithy. So I did watch some videos on the imprinting, and it seemed like there was some stuff that they've improved in that space, but it actually seemed like a really cool aspect to the game where you can imprint passives, I think, onto weapons, and then those weapons adopt that passive and take it to whichever character you equip the weapon on, which I think is super cool. It kind of allows for a lot of customization with your characters, because you can take, maybe a healing passive and put it on an attack champion to help keep them alive, or you could do extra damage or more crit rate or something along those lines, at least from what I understand at this point. I haven't got obviously into the game to find out if that's true or not. Anvil of Creation, I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. So that's one thing I'm noticing right away is, like, as far as your click zone, you have to click right on the actual piece here, whereas if you're clicking on the tavern, it almost feels like you're supposed to click on the tavern because of the way that the arrow and kind of is pointing, but you do need to click right on the words. And then there could be like a back button here and then a back to home screen. I'm not sure, but we're gonna go into Anvil of Creation here. We got imprint library, so we can look at our imprints. We can do extractions. I believe you take heroes and you extract them into an imprint so that you can put it on a champion or on a weapon, I believe is how that works, but we'll find out. But basically all we have to do right now is jump right into battle. Oh man, look at this open up. Okay, everything's locked up. We got arena, dungeon, bosses, campaign, and caverns. So we have 5 different game modes. My guess is, as far as the alpha is concerned, I don't think any of these actually ever unlock. I think we're just going to be doing the cavern. But to kind of give you an idea of at start of launch, we're probably going to be looking at 5 different game modes right there. But we jump into the caverns over here. We're on stage 1, and we're going to jump in and see how this battle goes. If we take a look at heroes, I have 1 hero. It's just me, my guy. All right, can we upgrade him? Let's see if we can upgrade him. We promote, I have nothing. Ascend, I have nothing. I don't even have gold. I got 10 gold. Oh, they're stingy. They're stingy right out of the gate with 10 gold. I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out how far gold goes, but it's just kind of funny to get 10. You might as well have 0. But anyway, let's go, and we're going to go into this first battle here, and hopefully we're going to acquire some champions because we're in here by ourselves. So we click on this. We're going to go ahead and put our champion in there. Can we click and drag? No, we got to click. And do we have a leader ability? It looks like we have a 20% attack in all battles leader ability, which is pretty strong for a rare character. I would expect that to be like 10 to 15%. But you know, it's kind of interesting. We're gonna go ahead and get in here. We have stamina up here, 206. It looks like I am accruing stamina while I'm sitting here kind of chatting. It says I'm full, so maybe I'm not accruing. No, it just went up. I just watched it go up. So that's kind of interesting. I like that idea where you're accruing when you're maxed out. Maybe you can bank it or something along those lines. But sometimes you level up or you get your experience up, and all of a sudden you go up 200-300 stamina and energy. It's energy in this game. I got to get out of my King Arthur verbiage. You know, then you're just not accruing for the time that you're waiting to use that energy. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in this battle and see if 1-star defeat the stage, 2-star defeat the stage with 1 ally alive. I mean, that's the only way I can do it. So we're gonna go ahead and hopefully 2-star this. So right away, I noticed the camera angle. It feels super tight on the action. I almost feel like pivoting. Oh, I'm attacking. Pivoting towards or kind of backing up slightly would be a better camera angle. It's funny when you play these games in one times, everything just looks slow-mo. But you can see he's almost off the screen over here, and there's a lot of excess space on this side. But if you pivot the camera something more like that as a default, and then be able to pivot from there, I think that might be a better solution. On this guy here, that was point of view. This is the top, so you're kind of from the back to the top. Doesn't really let you pan the camera on that one. And then action, this is kind of that 3/4 screen. So this is kind of how I'm used to watching it. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to try the point of view. In one of the videos, Simon said he recommended using each camera angle for like an hour or so and see if it grows on you. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to go into our core ability here, which is an AoE ability. We're going to attack and see what happens. We got 1 down, we resisted it, but we still almost killed him. And then we're going to come back. We have, I think our ultimate's ready now. I don't think you're going to be able to carry that into the next wave, but I don't think we need it either. So let's see if we can kill this guy and see if the ultimate stays charged for the next wave. And it does. So that was a good move on my side there. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to use the ultimate on these fools. Got a little red arrow, little yellow arrow, which I'm assuming is your affinity matchup. I do not know. I'm a red affinity. So red is negative to green and neutral to red. It'll be positive to blue, I'm assuming. So that's a pretty cool little animation there. Taking out those guys. Do some serious damage. And we're gonna get started again. I feel like the ultimates, it actually stacked up pretty quick. So I don't know if that was intentional because it's the beginning of the game. It might have actually been full when I started. I just didn't notice. But we're gonna go ahead and get in here and hit this guy, and he's dead. He's dead, and we jumped our ultimate gauge back up. That was 2 waves. Okay, so we're done with 2 waves, and we pick up an uncommon character. We get a Spartan. Hey, look, Spartan. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so order, what do we got from our Spartan? So on his basic, he's going to attack 1 enemy. It's going to be based on his HP and attack. And if Leonidas or Hoplite? Hoplite? I'm not sure. Are on the same team, increase the damage inflicted by 30%. So that's super cool as far as building synergy within a team. Obviously, Leonidas is a Spartan. I'm not sure who Hoplite is. Hoplite. Anyway, but I'm assuming they're part of this the Spartan culture there. But getting that extra 30%, I'd be curious if it stacks. If you have both of them on the team, if it goes up by 60%, that'd be kind of interesting to find out. We'll move over to the core ability, heals this hero for 15% of their max HP, then place res up on this hero for 1 turn. So that's going to be a resistance, I'm assuming, increase there. And then on this guy, attacks all enemies, again, based on HP and attack, places a barrier, 10% of their max HP on this hero. If Leonidas or Hoplite are on the same team, they will join the attack using their basic ability. Okay, so that's kind of a cool thing there with some co-op going on, as well as some heals and shielding. So ultimately, it sounds like you want to build him with pretty high HP, probably give you the most benefit, do extra damage, as well as give himself better heals and a bigger barrier. So, well, welcome to the team, Spartan. We got you. What else we get? We got 202,000 gold. And we did also get a helmet, a defense helmet, as well as, this actually looks like a pretty strong helmet. A helmet of the Slayer with init. Alright. And it is initiative. Initiative increases the amount of divinity generated by a hero in battle, which will require to use their ultimate. Okay, so that's going to actually let you cycle through your ultimates more frequently. More initiative will make your ultimate weapon more that's what I just said. Alright, perfect. So that's kind of cool. So we can get the the initiative helmet on our character, and then put the other helmet on our new character there. And then we're going to go to, let's see here. Let's go into heroes and take a peek at putting some of this gear on. So I like that we had the hero icon take us right to our heroes here. I can go in here, select the gear, select the piece. I can put that and I can enhance it. Let's see what enhancing is all about. So I got 202,000. Probably don't want to spend a lot of gold on enhancing stuff quite yet. But you got a slider bar here. It goes all the way up to 16. Costs a lot of gold to take it to 16. But we'll go ahead. We'll enhance it one time. Why not? See what's going on there. It does have a 3 there, which tells me it's probably pretty good. This one's a common piece with a 2. I guess it's only uncommon because it's green. So it is what it is. But on this guy here, we can pop that up one as well. We'll enhance that and put it on our champions. And then I feel like I'm missing a back button somewhere. Maybe it's just this. Okay, all right. So we're gonna go back onto our main champion here, and equip. That's what we're looking for. Equip that guy on there. And if we back out of that, grab our new Spartan champion, and we're gonna grab another helmet and put it on him. Equip, and that should be all good to go. So there's our Spartan. We got him in a helmet. There's Guan Yu with his helmet on, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next stage. So the way they got this laid out, I'd be curious if on stage 1 you farm reward. Let's see here. Yeah, so you got your helmets coming in here, and you can get uncommon. So if you need helmets, you can go specifically to that spot and farm helmets. And then on this one here, if we take a peek, it looks like we're gonna get chest plates. So that's kind of cool. I really like that about King Arthur, where you can go to a specific level to farm a specific thing. It just kind of cuts into the RNG. Even if you have multiple chances of getting, I'm assuming these are different types of gear. You have different types in here, but you're gonna get a chest plate. So it's kind of nice to be like, hey, I'm cutting into the RNG. I'm not looking to get the right piece of gear plus the right set that it belongs to. I'm just looking to get the right set because I can go farm exactly where I want it, which I think is kind of cool. I think it makes the grind feel more productive, because you can really kind of fine tune what you want to be grinding for, which I personally appreciate. So let's go in here. We're going to go into our second battle and see how we do. So again, on this camera angle here, our Spartan hero is not even in the camera. So I don't know if we pan this way. It might just be because it's his turn, so maybe on our Spartan's turn it'll put him in the camera view, but he's kind of behind these graphics over here, which is a little bit weird. On this guy, press and hold it down, it'll show me what's up, attacks all enemies. And this one I think was single target. Yeah, so we're going to go with this AoE ability on the core. And we're going to smack them for 772. One hit, they're done. That's awesome. We're going to move on here and see, I think we got our ultimate available. So we're going to go ahead and ultimate and take out this whole thing, I believe. It's a good smack. They're all down. It's almost too easy. It better not be hard at this stage of the game. That'd be pretty rough. That'd be brutal. All right, so we're back to our basic here. When you click the basic, it went right after the positive affinity, or excuse me, the negative affinity too. So that works out pretty good. But I would like to select the basic or select the thing and then click on the enemy. So I'm not sure if. Okay, so he did. I think that was his heal that he did there because he didn't actually hit. So I think that if the basics highlighted. Let's see here. It says attacks one enemy. So we can just click on the enemy themselves. But there might be times where you want to do a basic on a specific enemy. And I guess it's highlighted here. So as you switch between them, it'll highlight. If you click on it when it's already highlighted, it'll just do it. So you can switch between them. So if you, say you had one guy that was just barely alive and then you wanted to kill them with a basic, you could switch to the basic, kill them with the basic, and not, hey, we got a lion, and not use your core or your ultimates. Now, I don't think the ultimates are going to stack to the next wave, but we'll find out about that too. Let's see what our Nemean Lion's going to do for us. The basic, Steel Claws, attack one enemy with 90% defense, 80% attack. Again, splitting your attack power between defense and attack. On our Spartan, it's between HP and attack. I do find this to be kind of cool because it kind of opens up some ways you can build them. Obviously, when you go in here, you get more for your defense, and it's going to help keep him alive, where attack is just going to make him hit hard. So building him high defense is going to be the right way to go. That's a kind of a sinister grin this lion has. And I think the lion could do some blinking too. That stare is just a little bit creepy. But 2 times 30% chance to place attack down on a target. So that's going to be a pretty cool extra thing. Place ward on this hero for 2 turns. Won't let me click on ward here, so I'm not sure what that's going to do. On the ultimate ability, we're going to heal this hero by 20% of their max HP, and then has a 50% chance to place taunt on 2 random enemies for 1 turn. So that's kind of a cool thing. I'm assuming ward is going to be some sort of protective. If somebody's getting hit, you maybe share damage or something along those lines. But that's pretty cool. We got a new uncommon on the team, so that's pretty exciting. So we're going to continue with that. And we got a rare. We got Izel. So Izel typically is kind of like an attack healer in a lot of games that I've seen her in, but let's see what she's going to bring to the table. On her basics, she got Royal Herbs, attacks one enemy, 150% of attack, place Mend on the ally with the lowest HP. So that must be like a heal over time. Again, it'd be cool if we could click on that and find out what that is. And then on her core ability, Queen of Cornwall, place defense up 1 on all allies for 1 turn, and increases the turn meter of all allies by 10%. So she's speeding you up and making you durable. That's pretty good. Ultimate, we got the tiny print going on. We got some good stuff happening here. Remove 1 random debuff from all allies and increase the turn meter of all allies by 15%. Increase by a further 5% if a debuff is removed from the ally. So again, turn meter up, just kind of moving through stuff. If Tristan's on the enemy team, has a 75% chance place charm for 2 turns on them. So I'm assuming on the Tristan. Them kind of implies that if there's more than 1 Tristan on the team, that maybe it'll charm all of them, or 75% chance to charm each of them. That's kind of interesting, but that's kind of fun. That's like a fun kind of synergy. It's almost reverse synergy, because typically Tristan and Izel are together, but if he's on the other team, she charms him, and then he probably doesn't hit as hard. Again, it'd be cool to see what exactly Charm is doing. And then move it over to her passive, Heart's Echo. When an allied defender is attacked, heal all allies by 5% of this hero's max HP. So that's actually pretty strong. I'm trying to understand why this is gold, an allied defender. So I'm assuming they're identifying the defender as a defense-based champion versus, say, an attack-based champion. I haven't really seen where that's highlighted, so we'll have to take a peek at that. So we got here that's the red affinity. but there's not really anything specifying. We got some chest plates here, so that's pretty good. So we'll go ahead and get back into our heroes and get some stuff on our champions here. So we're going to start with Guan Yu and get on the gear here, and we're going to get a chest plate. And we got this guy here on the Slayer. What does Slayer do? Down here. So on Slayer we get an additional 15% attack, which is pretty cool. We've got the Slayer right here, so that is going to give us more attack right out of the gate. Let's go ahead and enhance it. We'll take it up a level. Why not? Take it to level 2. It doesn't cost very much at this point, so that's pretty good. And then we'll go back to equip, and then we'll move on to the Slayer. I think we'll probably start building out our Isil, seeing how she's our next rare champion. So we don't have a set bonus here because this one is in the Slayer category. This one is in defense. So we're going to keep those separate for now, and we'll get those extra bonuses from the sets as we kind of move forward. But got some stuff on those champions. Our poor little lion here's got nothing on him. We got nothing to give him. But we're going to keep pressing on to stage 3. We got 2 stars on those 2 so far, and we're going to keep moving on. All right, so we got another character after the next level. They're bringing in a new element here, Sharpen, which might be like a pierce or some sort of defense down, like defense ignore maybe. But it'd be kind of cool to know. And then on this guy, we do duration of Sharpen on this hero by 1 turn. It's going to be an uncommon character, so pretty cool there. I mean, the aesthetics of her are pretty fantastic. Or maybe she's a common character. New, we did get another chest plate, and we got some more gold there. Get that over here on our Spartan, so we get that 15% bonus of defense there. And then she is a common character. So we got uncommons and commons, and we haven't used the lion yet, but she's a pretty cool looking champion as far as that goes. I did play with the auto feature for the first time. Oh, I think I played the same stage I just beat. That's silly. All right, let's move on to the next stage. But we're gonna go. I was wondering why I got another chest plate. That's kind of funny. But we're gonna go in here. We still have these guys locked. It's kind of cool that there's a potential to have 5 champions in here. I think that's one of the things a lot of these games kind of miss out on, is different game modes having different numbers of champions. Like some game modes, maybe you only get 2 champions because it changes the dynamic of who you can bring in there. You're going to need people that do more things, and maybe not specialists in any one thing, but more jack of all traits. And then you could have teams of 2, 4, 5, 6, in different areas of the game, and just kind of opens up the strategy as far as what you can bring to the table. So if you can actually unlock 5 here, that's kind of a fun difference, because most of these games are running with 4 100% of the time. But we're going to go into this battle. But I did notice when we go onto auto here with the point of view, it actually becomes more like cinematic, where it's kind of going around, and I think it makes a lot more sense on auto to be using the point of view camera angle. So that's kind of a cool thing. But we got our ultimate there. We're going to just completely take him out. Got that extra attack, is going a long way. It does feel slow-mo, but in these games I feel like it always does. Like, I mean, that looked like she's in half speed. Then you go into twice speed, and it's going to be a little bit accelerated. But it's going to probably feel more what we're used to as far as these games are concerned. But yeah, I mean, that just had kind of a nicer feel to it. From here, I would almost feel like there would be a third, like, fast forward mode, where it's more about I'm just farming, I'm speeding. I may not be watching it, but I just want to get through this as fast as possible. But half of the fun of these games is building teams that basically speed up runs, right? So you're trying to figure out how you can go ahead. Hey, we got a duplicate copy of the lion, so maybe we can do something with that. But trying to figure out how you can get through this level quicker, so that if you're farming stuff, it's kind of, I want to know how I can do this more efficiently. So that's kind of a fun aspect of it. But we're going to press on in the game. I've been kind of stuck on every single character. It's just kind of super exciting. I feel like a kid at Christmas. It's fun to get through and see what's going on. Here's a cool guy back here. So I think I ran into my first glitch on stage 5. When I beat it, I actually got an uncommon champion. She was like an assassin. I think she did some damage over time, maybe bleeds or something like that. But she did not end up in my champion pool. So if I go to my heroes over here, she's not here. So that's kind of an interesting thing as far as that goes. But I think she was uncommon. So we'll have to kind of play with that. But on stage 5 here, on the 2 stars, they did switch gears a little bit, and now the challenge is you have to defeat the stage with at least 1 common hero. So we're going to go back in and beat that with a common hero on our team as well. So we're going to grab these 4 and then grab a common hero and go back and see if we could get this done. So I did find something in here. So like on stage 6, for example, if you go to the challenge, it tells you that you need to use at least 1 brawler. And then as you jump in here, there's not really, from what I can gather, there's not really a way to see who is a brawler. So you have to kind of come back out to your heroes, and then on this icon here, this guy's a Slayer, and then our Spartan over here is a brawler. It could make sense if this is going to be a common thing where you need to use specific folks. It might make sense to have this icon maybe in this top right corner or somewhere on the champion themselves, so you could see who's what from that screen. I think that could be. So this is his red strength is right there. So potentially it might make sense to try to do that, although you don't want these screens to be super cluttered either. So I can completely understand not putting it there. But it's kind of interesting here. You've got cunning, you've got strength, and thus far I have not received a single blue champion. So I don't know what the blue champion is. So but that's kind of fun. So we're going to move on to stage 7. We're going to take a peek at what we need. We need defeat the stage using at least 2 ultimate abilities. That's probably going to happen. But let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and put our team back in there and start getting through it. So we're going to go in there and go to town. I do like the action on the auto as well. It's kind of a nice, more comfortable view. This was the character I got. So I received this character, and she never made it into my account. So hopefully she's not super good. She wasn't legendary, so I'd probably feed her at some point anyway. But that was the assassin that I got there, and I was pretty excited about. And she wasn't there for me to play with. So that's just a little bit of feedback there. I'm not sure what happened there as far as why, but hopefully that's not happening on a bunch of these resources that aren't making it back into my item bag, because I probably wouldn't notice short of the gear itself. Like if the gold wasn't getting added in or something along some of those other resources weren't, I'm not really paying attention too much. So, but she technically would be a resource that didn't make it back. So I'd be curious if that's the only time that's happening or if it's happened a couple other times too. So here we got another an uncommon character. In the wisdom is the blue and a brawler. And we'll see if they end up on my account if I continue through here. So we got some boots. So we could probably get in there and get our folks leveled up a little bit. And now she's there. She made it there. Somehow after I got him, she popped up. Okay. So she's on the account, and somehow she just wasn't there for a minute. So problem has been fixed. But we're going to get it here. Let's get into the gear and get ourselves all dialed in. So I actually just took the helmet off of my Spartan, put it on her, and there was no charge for moving of gear or any of that. So that's actually pretty cool. So right now on Isold, I've got defense. So I got the 15% for defense, attack, and HP going on right now, which is pretty solid. It gets you those gear sets right away. On Guan Yu, I actually went straight Slayer all the way down the way, so we got extra 15% attack, so that's 45% extra attack going on him, and he's got all my best gear going on, seeing how he's my starting character. But we're going to keep pushing on into the dungeons until I get stuck, and then we're going to see how we need to go ahead and start enhancing characters to do better. So as we're going through this a little bit, I'm noticing like it doesn't look like there's any indication of rarity on this screen. So like I don't know that he's a rare character, for example, or this is an uncommon and rare. And the reason I think that matters, like you have the void affinity here, which I think is cool, but like when you're up against enemies that you don't know who they are, it'd be kind of cool if you knew what their rarity was. Like, are they epic? Are they, like, even over here, they could have the purple border or the gold border, but everybody kind of has the same border with the enemy. Obviously the red being the enemy is kind of cool. But even here, like you could have around this ring, it could be like a green ring around inside the gold versus a blue, a purple, or a gold on gold. Something like that, which would tell you what type of character it is. I think could be beneficial, because there was a character in the last battle, this gentleman right here was actually the guy. So I saw him and I was like, oh dang, that guy looks pretty cool, but I didn't know what his rarity was. I thought maybe he was a legendary. So he's in the Eternal, so he's my first Void Champion, I guess, or Eternal Champion, which I'm assuming has neutral affinity to everybody, which is kind of cool. But that would be kind of a nice way of kind of enhancing a little bit as far as that main screen so that you can see the type of champion you got going on. So it happened again. We got that champion, and now they're not in here for me to select. I don't know how to bring them into the fold. They're somewhere in here, and I want to use them so I can start leveling them up. But unfortunately, that's not an option. My Isolde has taken over my my position. Is there an overall attack power? What do we got going on here? What do we got? So this is kind of funny. My guy actually died. Guan Yu died in the last one, and they just pulled his dead body right here so he's laying there on the next one too, which is kind of interesting. Usually, like when they fall, they kind of stay back, which I think is probably the intent. So that's kind of probably just something to work through as far as that goes. But it made me laugh when it happened. I think I might have come up against this. I might have to actually start leveling some characters up and doing better. So we're going to have to see how I can improve these guys, make them a little more durable. So far, I don't have any revivers or anything like that, so there's no way to bring people back. I just need to work on heals a little better, maybe building my team composition to make more sense, where I have some healers and some support as well as my damage dealers, because right now I'm just putting all my best characters in. So let's go take a peek at what we can do. We're on max level for these guys. Let's see if we can level them up and start accumulating experience again. Oh man! So I got stuck, I think on stage 10. I started going back through just to get some more gear from stage 1 through, I think I'm on stage 7 now. And I just got Beowulf as a drop, which is pretty exciting. That's pretty cool. So I'm pretty excited about that there. Probably be a strong character. My guess is obviously attack fit focused. Got brawler boss. Let's see here, we got some stuff going on here. So we take a look at his basic. He's got attack one enemy for 340%. If the target is a brawler or boss, increase attack by 5%, stacking up to 3 times. So you can get an extra 15% on those folks. Attack one enemy, so far single target. We got 300% of attack plus 2% enemy max HP. Enemy max HP champions in raid are kind of OP. Like, they can really do a lot of damage, especially for bosses that have a lot of HP, because that 2% is quite a bit of attack power there. If the target is a brawler or a boss, then decrease the target's attack by 5%, stacking up to 3 times. So that's pretty cool. And then on the ultimate ability, so we still have the basic, a core, and ultimate, and passive for an epic. So we still have the same abilities, which is kind of cool here. But on the ultimate, we got attack one enemy, 410% of attack, 3% max HP, and then the target is a brawler or boss, increases this hero's crit damage by 10%, stacking up to 3 times. So that's pretty solid. That is single target. So everything is single target damage. There is no AoE, but we can absolutely smack a single target, which is pretty cool. This hero inflicts 20% increased damage to brawlers and bosses just as a passive skill. So that is pretty exciting. That is the first epic on the account, which is always a fun time. All right, so I've made some pretty good progress on the game. I figured out how to upgrade characters. So we got Ramses on the account there, as well as this Void, as well as Beowulf. So we've been kind of trying to upgrade them to 2 stars so we can start moving them towards level 20. I did notice something here, and I'm trying to pull out the glitches, not to call them out, but I'm assuming somebody might watch the video, might be helpful to see it on camera as opposed to trying to explain it in a text thread. So right now I have Beowulf actually highlighted, but it didn't move over to him. And that happened a few times while I was trying to upgrade people, where it was just kind of, so this is actually on the gear screen. It's not moving around to these characters. There it goes. So it just seems like it's a little delayed or something weird's going on. But when I was trying to upgrade on the info screen, and you can see I got 3 of them upgraded right now. But if I picked on, say, this guy, it would stay on the old character. So when I went to upgrade, I was upgrading a character I just upgraded. Which is kind of weird. So and then I accidentally upgraded him to level 11, which is kind of cool. You can do that with gold. I do actually like that, because that way you don't have to necessarily go farm all those folks. But it seems to be, see, so I clicked on him and it didn't switch over. And so if I go upgrade, it takes me back into Beowulf. And then I have to come back out to go into that upgrade. So it was just something that kind of caught me off guard. I felt like I kept clicking and things weren't working right. So it's just a little bit of a hiccup there going on. with that. So hopefully that's an easy fix. But we did get a bunch of folks at 2 stars, so we're going to go back in and keep farming up and get some gear on everybody and hopefully press on a little further, deeper into the catacombs. All right, so after those upgrades, we were able to press on through floor 10. We actually didn't lose anybody in that battle, so we did pretty good there. A lot of damage coming in from Beowulf there. Got some new stuff on the account, which is pretty exciting there. So we'll poke around and see how much further we can go. The more I get into it, I do really appreciate the POV when you're running on auto, because it does kind of detach you from the game a bit. As you're moving around, it's hard to maintain like which of your champions are still alive. Obviously, you've got them down here, so I mean you can see where their life bar is and all that. But in the actual animation, it zooms in on one of your champions, and you don't know where the other ones are, and so it's kind of that. But it's kind of engaging. So when you're watching your champions go through it, it kind of gives you a little more to look at than just the standard view from here. Or this is probably the way I'm most used to playing the game. So I do find like after spending some time in the point of view, this actually kind of feels a little boring a little bit. So I actually have been really appreciating the point of view, which I thought personally that I wouldn't like. So that is pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about the progress I've made so far. Like upgrading characters feels really good. I mean, obviously I'm on my 2nd star, so there's a long way to go. But it feels like progress doesn't feel super sluggish. Like one of the things that I really turned me off to raid is just how long it takes to upgrade characters and how much energy goes into all of it. The other thing is so far the character drops in the game have been pretty consistent, and I feel like I got a copy of Ramses here. I got an extra copy of Guan Yu. I have not gotten the other starter champion yet, but you know, I feel like there's characters coming in that I mean I've already got an epic character on day 1, which is really exciting there. I don't think in the alpha we're actually getting summoning stones. I think we're just getting drops as we go through the dungeon. So, but maybe I'm getting them. I didn't even notice. But there's a couple things in there that we've been accruing as far as resources that I don't know what they do yet. So I look forward to kind of taking a peek at that. But right now I'm just kind of zipping through, going through until I can't pass a level, and then go back, farm a little bit, and see about upgrading my characters where I can. But so far this team seems to be pretty healthy. I could use, I think, a better healer. But you know, we're doing enough damage, it doesn't seem to matter, so we're kind of blazing through them pretty easily right now. But it is super fun, super addicting. I've probably been playing the game for about an hour now, and I just want to keep playing. I think I broke it. I broke the game. Oh no, there it goes. I was like, oh no, what did I do? So yeah, I mean, I think to answer the question so far, have they found the fun? I do feel like so far this game is extremely fun, and this is just a basic version of the game. It's not even fully open yet, such as summoning stones and all of that stuff. So I think that it's going to be even better and better from here. I'm not entirely sure how it's working out. My guess is it's working different for the alpha than it will in normal game mode. But somehow I'm accruing a lot of energy so I can keep playing. I don't think I've actually leveled my account up that I've seen at least. So that's just something that typically in these games you start leveling up your account, and then you gain energy so you can keep playing. I think the idea here is if I want to play, they're probably going to give me enough energy to play at 24/7 if I want to, which is kind of fun. But getting into the game starting out, you want to be able to have, you know, a lot of progress early on and be able to play the game for maybe several hours straight if you want to, and then slowly you start upgrading your account, you know, a little slower, where, you know, the energy starts to kind of bring you down a little bit in that space. But so far it's been pretty cool, but I'm gaining way more experience, or way more energy than I can possibly use. I think I'm up over 400 now, and I'm like, I don't really know how it all came in. All right, so we hit another wall. Now, I actually don't have gear on all these folks. I moved all the best gear over to Beowulf and just started, you know, sledgehammering my way through. So we hit another wall here. One thing I would note is this is the second wave, I believe, of 3. It would be cool for that to say that somewhere, where it's like, hey, wave 2 of 3, you know, or just a 2 of 3, and then you could just know what that was, because you kind of get lost in there, and you're like, I'm not sure if there's a first wave, second wave, if there is a third wave, all those things. But I did want to go back into and see, because they get 5 people now, So we're on stage 20. If we go in here, we do get 5. Okay, I was running on 4, so that was a problem too. So we could probably bring in a 5th player. But we're going to go ahead and see about getting some of the upgrades going on my heroes, and then go back in there and see if we can do it. So if we take a look at upgrading the account, I think you can take like this guy here. You can go in here and under info, you can go upgrade. You can grab any of the single star champions that I just grabbed, and then you could select and promote him for 2K. Now he's up to 2 stars, so I could take him to level 20. I do like that he doesn't reset to level 1. He stays on level 10, and you just bring him up to level 20 from there. The other thing you can do is if you select a champion like this that you have duplicates of, you can go into Awakening, and then in that Awakening you can actually assign them to be sacrificed. So you can sacrifice 2 of them, and then you get an upgraded skill. So if you awaken, let's see here, not implemented. Does it tell me what I'm going to get out of this? I don't want to spend that just because I'm going to probably feed them up. I'm not going to probably build that character. So I'm just sacrificing 2 copies. But if you do awaken them, then you start getting benefits along the way. So that is kind of an interesting thing. That's I think a pretty cool duplicate system as far as that goes, because it allows you to kind of get multiple copies of a champion and boost them up. It looks like up to 5, so that means you're pulling, as far as legendaries are concerned, you need 6 copies of a legendary character in order to completely max this out, at least from what I'm seeing here, which is it's a lot, but I mean, you have to think long term in these games to be successful, so I think it's not a bad way to go. Let's see here. If we go back into our setup here, we're going to go ahead and see where we can actually start improving some of our characters, get some gear on them. Might go back and actually get these characters all to level 20, and then upgrade them to 3-star before we move on. So another thing I'm seeing here is if you select on a specific stage and go into the reward preview, it'll show you what can drop. So you can get spirits in here. But on stage 10, it actually can drop legendary and epic characters. So we're going to go ahead and farm here for a little bit and just see what we get. And then I'm also going to put this auto run on here. I'm assuming that's just going to keep doing the battle after it finishes, so I can keep going. So auto battle in progress. I would assume that at some point they would probably have a limiting. You get 10 of these, or you get 30 of these, or whatever it is. You probably earn them as some sort of currency in the game, so you can run your auto battles, which is kind of cool. It would be cool to see if you had like the progression side of things, where once this character gets maxed out, supplement this character in, that kind of thing, just to kind of get things moving along. But we're going to auto battle this for a little bit here, see if we can get a legendary character, if not another epic, and as well as some gear on the account, and then we'll see about upgrading our character and see if we can press on in the dungeon. But I think this is probably a good pausing point for this video. I'm going to keep playing, obviously. I'll probably be in front of this computer for the next 20 hours. I've been waiting for this game for so long. I am so excited to play it, and it is living up to expectation. And this is, again, it's just the alpha. This is one part of the game that they're opening up to you, where you can kind of say like, oh, this is, how this dungeon would work. Essentially, we're just in a single dungeon, and that's all we get to do. There's bosses, there's going to be other dungeons, there's going to be campaign mode. There's going to be a lot of different aspects to this game that we don't even get to taste yet. So this is definitely a pretty exciting time as far as that goes. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all the way to the end. I'm going to have another video coming out probably shortly as I learn more and more about the game. Probably put together maybe a 7 video series, 10 video series. I'm not sure. I'll just kind of cover stuff as I'm going through it, and put a video, put a playlist together, so that we can kind of see the progression of GodForge and my experience in it. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Hey, we got another copy of Guan Yu there, so we can get him upgraded as well. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me all the way to the end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.